Good afternoon. Now the point is port B change interrupt. So in PIC 18F452 microcontroller, port B is an 8-bit bidirectional port which is shared with the interrupt pins and the serial device programming pins. So port B is controlled by 3 registers. One is port data register, second is port direction register, and third is port latch register. So the general operation of port B is similar to that of port A on power on reset, and when port pins is configured as an output. So on power on reset, the port B pins are configured as a digital input. The internal pull-up allow the input device such as switches to be connected to the port B pins without use of external pull-up resistor, and this saves the cost because the component count and a wiring requirements are reduced. So here port B interrupt chain interrupt structure is given. The global interrupt enable. When it is 0, then it disable all the interrupt. If it is 0, then no interrupt is acknowledged even if they are enabled individually. If GIE, that is the D7 bit, is 1, then the interrupts are allowed to happen, and each interrupt source is enabled by set by setting the corresponding interrupt enable bit. Then RBIE, this bit is port B change interrupt enable. If this bit is 0, then disable port B change interrupt, and if it is 1, then enable the port B change interrupt. Then RBIF is port B change interrupt flag. If it is 0, then none of the RB4 to RB7 pins have changed the state, and if it is 1, at least one of the RB4 RB7 pins has changed the state. The RBIE, this bit along with GIE, it must be set high for any change on the pins RB4 to 7 to cause an interrupt. So RB4 to 7 pins must also have been configured as the input pins for this interrupt to work. So in order to clear the RBIF flag, we have to read the pins of RB4 to 7 and use the instruction BCF INTCON RBIF. Next is the difference between the external hardware and the port B change interrupt. So external hardware, this RB0 to RB7 interrupts has its own pin and it is independent of each other. And the port B change, it uses all the 4 and considered to be a single interrupt even though it can use up to 4 pins. Then external hardware, it has own flag and independent each other, and port B changes, it has a single flag only. Then external hardware, it can be programmed to trigger on negative negative or positive edge. And port P change, it can cause an interrupt, either pin changes status from high to low or low to high. Then next is peak 18 interrupts. So interrupts are the mechanism which enable the instant response to the events such as counter overflow, pin change, data received, etc. And in normal code, the microcontroller execute the main program as long as there are no occurrence that would cause an interrupt. So upon interrupt, the microcontroller stops in normal mode. The microcontroller executes the main program as long as there are no occurrences that would cause an interrupt. So upon interrupt, the microcontroller stops the execution of the main program and commences the special part of the program, that is ISR, which will analyze and handle the interrupt. The next is pick and serve multiple devices using mechanism of polling and interrupt. So there are two methods for communicating between the microcontroller and external device or external system. So what is polling? In this method, the microcontroller accesses the external device at the exact time interval and gets the required information, and the time period is determined by the user. In fact, we can say that when using the method polling, the processor must access the device itself and request the desired information that is needed to be processed. So the main drawback of writing the program with this method is the waste of time. The micro needs to wait and review whether new information is arrived. Next is the interrupt. So the interrupt is the signal which is sent to the micro to mark the event which require the immediate attention, and interrupt is asking the processor to stop to perform the current program and to make the time to execute a special code. And the method of the interrupt define the option to transfer the information which is generated by internal or external system inside the micro by themselves, or interrupts are the events which can cause a program to stop what it is doing in order to run an interrupt service routine, that is ISR, which will handle the event by taking whatever action is required before finally returning control to our main program. So once the system has finished the task imposed on it, the processor will be notified that it can access and receive the information and use it. So there are two types of the interrupt, the software interrupt and the hardware interrupt. Now what is software interrupt? It comes from the program which runs by the processor and requests the processor to stop running the program, go to make an interrupt, and then return to continue to execute the program. The hardware interrupt, these are sent to the microcontroller by external hardware devices. Some of the interrupts can be blocked by making enable bit. So when the interrupt is blocked, the micro, that is, does not see the request for an interrupt, therefore it won't be available to execute it. So the blocked interrupt won't be executed till the block is removed. Then the next is interrupt service routine, that is ISR. The next is the interrupt service routine. So when an interrupt is invoked, the microcontroller runs the interrupt service routine, that is ISR, and the interrupt vector table holds the address of ISR. So power on reset address is 0000H, the high priority interrupt is 0008H, and the low priority address is 0018H. So here diagram for the is shown, where the address of reset vector, high priority interrupt vector, low priority interrupt vector is given, and for peak 18 FX4X0 and for 5UX0 the on-chip memory address and on-chip memory address is given for these two different peak controllers. So peak 18 has 2 to 5 timers depending on the family member. As the family member varies, the number of timers also vary. So they are referred as timer 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now what is the use of timer? What timers can exactly do? So it generates a time delay, and second function is as a counter to count the events happening outside the microcontroller. So peak 18F4580 has 4 timers. So every timer need a clock pulse to tick, and the clock source can be internal or external. So internal clock, the 1/4 of the frequency of the crystal oscillator. An oscillator 1 and 2 pins is fed into the timer. Therefore, it is used for the time delay generation, and this is called a timer. So external clock fed pulses through one of the peak 18 pins, and this is called as a counter. And the next is many of the peak 18 timers are 16-bit wide, and each 16-bit timer is accessed as a two separate register, low byte and high byte. So each timer also has a TCON, that is timer control register, for setting the modes of operation. Now the next is CCP modes, that is capture, compare and PWM generations. So CCP module compatibility, CCP means what? Capture, compare and PWM generation. So these capture means what? Here the contents of 16-bit timer upon detecting an nth rising or falling edge is returned to internal register. Then compare is generate an interrupt or change an output pin when timer 1 matches a preset comparison value. And PWM is create an reconfigurable steady duty cycle square wave output at a user set frequency. So a capture, compare and PWM module or CCP for short is designed into a peak micro to assist with a measurement or control of time-based pulse signals. And the capture mode causes the contents of the internal 16-bit timer upon detecting an nth rising or falling edge to be returned to on-board special function register. And the compare mode generates an interrupt or change on output pin. So when timer 1 matches a preset comparison value, a PWM or formally pulse width modulation mode creates a reconfigurable square wave duty cycle output at a user set frequency. The application software can change the duty cycle or period by modifying the value which is written to a specific special function register. So CCP resource a single source clock for capture and compare or PWM mode. There are two separate CCP modules and each CCP module supports capture, compare and PWM modules. So the mid-range peak microcontroller contain up to two CCP modules. Each module operate independently and support capture, compare or PWM mode, and operation is synchronized to internal clock, and a single clock source is shared between all available capture, compare or PWM CCP module on chip. So CCP module mode is determined by the designer specific option in CCP con register, where X will be 1 or 2, and the CCP register nomenclature is given here: CCP con, CCP 1 con or 2 con, CCP 1 stat or 2 stat, CCP 1L or 2L, and 1H or 2H. So CCP XCON, it means that it refers to CCP1 or CCP2 control register supporting the mode selection and access to the two least significant bits. Then CCP XL, it refers to the CCP1 or 2 which is used to store a low byte value in a capture or comparison operation and an entry register in PWM mode. And the CCP XH, it refers to CCP 1 or 2 which is used to store a high byte value in capture or compare mode and as buffer in PWM mode. So this shows the CCP mode configuration chart, capture mode. Thank you.